Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make these hanging heart bunting type things. My sister actually informs me that they're called garlands, but I don't know, I think hanging heart bunting type thing has more of a ring to it. So the things that you're going to need for this: a selection of materials. You're also going to need a tape measure. This isn't hugely essential though, you can probably wing it without it. You're going to need some kind of padding or wadding. You can get this kind of thing from most craft shops, or you could take it from the inside of an old pillow or cushion that you don't use anymore, but you could obviously just still recycle the innards. Some scissors. Some kind of marker pen. Some of these pins are probably going to be handy. And if you're going to be old-fashioned like me, a needle and thread. You can actually do the most of this with glue if you want to, but you're probably going to need a needle and thread when you come to attach the hearts to the string. So yeah, needle and thread. Okay, so for each heart you're going to need to have 2 pieces of material, the same size. For the size heart that I'm doing, these are 16 centimeters by 16 centimeters. So you want to go ahead and take your first piece of material and make sure that the pattern is facing you, and therefore the back of the material is actually facing the surface of whatever it is that you're working on. And then you want to take the other piece of material and then sandwich the pattern on top of the pattern which is facing you. So basically you would have made like a material sandwich thing, and you'll have the inside of the pattern on the inside of your material sandwich. Yes. Okay, so now you're going to want to fold this material in half and make sure that you flatten this out as well as you can. So once you've got this folded in half, you're going to want to take 2 pins, and continuing to pinch this, you want to just pop that in, and then you want to pop the other pin in, and this way your material is going to stay nice and together. Okay, so now taking your marker, you want to keep this flat and you're going to draw half a heart shape. Now the reason for this is because if you draw it this way, you're going to have a pretty symmetrical heart, whereas if you just draw a heart onto a piece of material as it is, then experience has taught me you'll get a much more symmetrical heart if you do it this way. And so then you want to go ahead and draw half a heart shape from the inside of your material. So going from the spine of your folded material, start drawing your heart shape. So once you have your half a heart, you want to go ahead with the scissors and cut this out. So once you've done that, you want to go ahead and take the pins out, and poof, we have a heart. Okay, so lay your heart down, and then taking your pins again, you want to pin these 2 pieces of material together. I typically use 4 pins if you kind of make a diamond shape. That should be sufficient. Okay, so now the fun bit, sewing. Now don't worry if you don't know how to sew, this is pretty user friendly and I'll explain it the best that I can as we go. So once you've threaded your needle, you want to take the 2 ends of the thread, pinch them together, and then placing that on your index finger, put the needle over and just spin the thread around, and then just pull that down to the end of the thread, and you should be left with a little knot. And the reason that this is a handy thing to do is because when you start your stitch, it's not going to come loose. So you're going to want to start your stitch from around this point at the bottom of your heart and work your way around. So each time you go to make a new stitch, you just go a little bit far behind where your thread has come out from your last stitch. And this way it's just really a more secure stitch, and it's also going to be pretty hidden once you turn it inside out. So yeah, we basically just keep stitching now. Stitching's what we do. And then once you get about an inch away from where you originally started your first stitch, you want to just seal this off. So to do that, you just want to make a loop from not completing a stitch, and then thread that round 3 times, pulling it tight to make a knot. And then you cut that off. Now from the opening, from where you haven't completed your stitch, fold it back around the right way, and then poof, you've got your heart. Okay, so now you want to grab your wadding, and then basically you just want to stuff this into this. And so once you're happy with your stuffing, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. And now we are going to seal this up. And so to do an invisible stitch, you just basically want to do the same stitch as before, but only going from the inside of the 2 pieces of material that you've pinched together. So you just want to go back on one, through the other, and then kind of weave your needle through the inside and then thread it through. And that way when you pull it tight, you won't actually see the thread. And poof, your heart is done. Now for attaching the heart to the aforementioned string, you are going to want to take approximately 50 centimeters of string and then just tie a knot. And so this is going to be your excess at the end of the bunting garland thing. So for this one I'm going to take 30 centimetres and then at that point take about another 10 centimetres, make a loop by pinching them together and then tying that in a knot, leaving a loop approximately that size. Now depending on how many hearts you've made, you want to make sure that you put a loop approximately the same distance between each next loop. And then to attach the heart to the loop, thread your needle through the very point of the top of your heart and then just loop it through. And then every single time you make a stitch, just continue to loop it through. Do this a few times to make sure it's nice and secure. And then once you're happy with that, just go ahead, seal off your knot, cut the thread, and then you're done. Of course, unless you just want one dangling on a piece of string, you are going to have to repeat these steps a few times over, but once you have, it'll be really pretty. I hope I've explained all of this well, but in case I haven't, I will make sure I leave all of the information that you need to know down below. But other than that, I suppose I shall see you soon. Bye!